The trailer doesn't just tease, it shakes the ground beneath us. In Outlander, Blood of My Blood, Episode 5, we see Henry at the edge of his breaking point, searching for Julia with an intensity that feels both desperate and dangerous. Images flash by quickly, but every frame carries weight. You can almost feel the tension in the air, the pull of fate dragging these two characters closer. And when Henry finally catches that glimpse of Julia hidden in the shadows, the entire story shifts. It's the moment we've all been waiting for, but it's also the moment that threatens to tear everything apart. This is not just a reunion. It's the beginning of a storm that will decide whether love can survive in a world built on secrets, betrayal, and war. To understand why Episode 5 matters so much, we need to step back and see the journey that brought us here.
Outlander Blood
of My Blood has built its world slowly, giving us glimpses of family, loyalty, and the quiet pain of separation. In the last episode, we watched Henry consumed by a mission that felt impossible to find Julia before she was lost forever. The series has shown us his struggle, not just with the dangers around him, but with the weight of his choices. Decision Henry has made so far has come at a cost. Julia has always been the heart of that struggle. Episode 4 left us at the edge of uncertainty. The silence at the end was louder than any words. Henry searching, calling out, finding nothing but shadows. It was the kind of cliffhanger that makes you lean forward, holding your breath, waiting for the next piece of the story. And now, Episode 5 picks up that thread. The trailer doesn't waste time. Right from the start, we see Henry moving with purpose, but also with fear. The world around him feels harsher, colder, and every sound in the distance suggests danger. It's not just about finding Julia anymore. It's about surviving the obstacles that keep them apart. This trailer makes it clear that Julia is no longer just a missing figure in Henry's life. She has become the symbol of everything he's fighting for. Every glance, every step, every cut of the trailer reminds us that Julia is more than a person. She is the piece of his soul he can't let go of, and yet there's a danger in that. Because the closer Henry gets to Julia, the more fragile everything else becomes. The trailer shows flashes of conflict, shadows of rivals, and hints that their reunion may not bring peace, but instead invite greater chaos. This setup is powerful because it takes something deeply personal and places it in a world that is unforgiving. Henry is not just chasing Julia, he is chasing hope. But in Outlander, hope always comes at a cost. That's why the setup of Episode 5 matters, because it's not just about whether Henry will find Julia, but about what he will lose in the process. The trailer whispers that the reunion is coming, but it also warns us, nothing in this world comes without sacrifice. Asterisk the trailer for Outlander. Blood of My Blood Episode 5 is short, but it feels like every second is loaded with meaning. It doesn't waste time on filler. Instead, it throws us right into Henry's relentless search, and the way it's edited makes us feel his desperation as if it were our own. The very first shot is haunting, Henry trudging through misty woods, his breath heavy, his eyes burning. With exhaustion, sound is muted, almost like the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for what he might discover. There's a sharpness to his movements, a man torn between hope and fear. You can sense that he's close, closer than ever, yet the uncertainty is suffocating. As the trailer cuts forward, the pace quickens. We see Henry pushing open an old wooden door, its hinges creaking under his weight. The scene flashes to Julia's face, partially hidden behind shadows, her expression unreadable, a mix of relief and fear. That single glimpse is enough to spark questions. Is she safe? She been waiting for Henry? Or is she trapped in a situation where his arrival might make everything worse? The camera lingers on her eyes for a split second, and in that silence, you feel the weight of their history. It's not a loud reunion. It's quiet, fragile, and dangerous all at once. The trailer also teases Julia's surroundings. She isn't standing in a warm, welcoming place. Instead, the room around her feels cold and guarded. The light is dim, as if secrets have soaked into the very walls. We see a figure move in the background, just a blur, enough to hint at someone watching her. The choice to keep this mysterious figure out of focus is deliberate. It builds suspense, suggesting Julia is not alone, and that Henry's arrival might ignite more than just an emotional reunion. It might trigger conflict. There's a powerful cut to Henry and Julia's eyes, locking the heartbeat of the trailer. The music swells and the pace shifts into chaos. Quick flashes follow, Henry raising his voice in anger or desperation, Julia's lips trembling as if she's about to speak, soldiers marching in the distance, and a hand clutching a dagger. The editing is ruthless, leaving us with no full answers, only fragments of tension. These flashes work like puzzle pieces, daring us to connect them, but ensuring we never get the full picture. Another striking moment comes when Henry stumbles into an open field, his figure small against the sweeping backdrop of stormy skies. This image is not random. It reminds us that Henry is just one man against forces larger than himself, fate, family, and the dangers of the world he inhabits. The storm above reflects the storm inside him. He's determined, but determination alone may not be enough. The trailer also hints at betrayal. In one rapid sequence, we see Julia's hand being grabbed by someone else, not Henry. The shot is fast. Almost hidden, but it's there. This could mean Julia is caught between loyalty and survival, between the man she loves and the reality of her circumstances. The moment plants doubt in our minds. Will Julia truly be free to choose Henry, or has her life been bound by someone else's control? Then comes the sound design, an element that makes this trailer unforgettable. We hear Henry's voice, low and desperate, whispering Julia's name. The echo carries over scenes of chaos, almost like a prayer or a curse. The trailer doesn't. Let us hear Julia's full response. Cuts off before she speaks, leaving her silence louder than any words. This silence becomes a weapon, keeping us hooked. It's forcing us to imagine what she might say when the full episode arrives. Finally, the trailer ends on a cliffhanger image. Henry rushing forward, Julia stepping back, and the screen cutting to black before we know if they touch, embrace, or turn away. That final blackout is deliberate. It holds the reunion hostage from us, ensuring we're left with questions burning inside. Will they reunite in love, or will fear and danger tear them apart once more? Asterisk the power of Episode 5's trailer. Isn't just in the action or suspense, it's in the way it exposes the fragile but magnetic bond between Henry and Julia. Their story has always been about more than just reunion. It's about two people caught between love and survival, bound by emotions they cannot escape. What makes this trailer stand out is the way it gives us a glimpse into their inner struggles without ever fully telling us what they feel. It leaves us suspended in that gray space where longing meets fear. Henry, as we see in the trailer, is no longer the same man we first met. His desperation has hardened into determination, but with it comes a dangerous edge. His every movement suggests a man willing to risk everything, even his own life, to reach Julia. Yet beneath that fire is exhaustion, the kind that comes from chasing shadows for too long. This duality makes Henry compelling. He's both the hero we root for and the man we fear, may destroy himself in the process. His emotions for Julia are clear, but the trailer hints that these emotions may cloud his judgment, pushing him into decisions that could have irreversible consequences. Julia, on the other hand, is shown with layers of mystery. Her face in the shadows, her silence in the trailer, tells us she is carrying secrets of her own. While Henry's actions are loud and desperate, Julia's strength lies in restraint. She appears cautious, guarded, as though she knows that Henry's arrival brings as much danger as it does hope. The trailer's subtle glimpses suggest Julia may not simply be a damsel waiting to be saved. Instead, she is a woman who has adapted to survive in harsh conditions, and her choices may surprise both Henry and the audience. Between them, the tension is almost unbearable. The way their eyes lock in the trailer feels like a battle in itself. One side pulling with love, the other resisting with fear. This unspoken dialogue raises important questions. Does Julia still trust Henry? Does Henry understand the price of bringing her back into his world? Most importantly, will their bond survive when the forces around them, betrayal, family conflict, and looming war close in? But the trailer doesn't stop at their dynamic alone. It hints at outside pressures shaping their fates. The shadowy figure near Julia, the grasping hand that isn't Henry's, and the marching soldiers all suggest that other characters hold power over this reunion. Henry and Julia may want to find each other, but the world of Outlander has never allowed love to exist without challenge. Their relationship, tested by absence, will now be tested by presence, and that, perhaps, is an even greater trial. In the end, the dynamics revealed in Episode 5's trailer remind us of one simple truth. Love in this world is never safe. It is fierce, fragile, and costly. Henry and Julia's bond is a flame, but the question remains, will it burn bright enough to guide them? What makes this trailer truly powerful is not just the reunion between Henry and Julia, but the way it frames their story within the larger world of Outlander. Blood of My Blood, this isn't simply about two characters finding each other. It's about what their connection represents in a world filled with division, betrayal, and shifting loyalties. The trailer makes it clear that Episode 5 will be more than just a turning point for Henry and Julia. It will ripple outward, changing the fate of everyone around them. The images we see in those quick flashes are telling. Marching soldiers, tense confrontations, whispers of betrayal. These are not isolated events. They are reminders that Henry and Julia's reunion doesn't happen in a vacuum. Their choices carry weight, and their bond threatens to disrupt fragile alliances. The hand grabbing Julia in the trailer could symbolize more than control. It could symbolize the way others see her, not as a person, but as a pawn. Henry may see Julia as love, as salvation, but the world around them sees her as leverage, piece in a larger game of power. This sense of the bigger picture adds layers of danger. Henry's determination to bring Julia back into his world could ignite conflict with those who hold power over her. It could also draw attention from enemies who would rather see Henry broken than whole. Every step he takes toward her pulls him deeper into a web of political and personal struggles, where the cost of love might be bloodshed. The trailer doesn't shy away from this tension, it feeds it, hinting that Episode 5 will test not only Henry and Julia, but the fragile balance of everything around them, thematically. The trailer leans heavily on ideas of destiny and sacrifice. Henry and Julia's meeting feels inevitable, as though fate itself has pushed them back together. But in Outlander, fate is never kind. Destiny is often laced with pain, and sacrifice is always waiting around the corner. The bigger picture of Episode 5 is not about whether they will find each other. We already see that in the trailer, but about what they will lose once they do. Will their love be strong enough to withstand the storm, or will it become the very thing that tears them apart? There's also a strong sense of foreshadowing in the way the trailer is cut. The stormy skies, the shadows lurking in Julia's scenes, the soldiers moving in silence, all of these elements suggest that the reunion is not an ending, but a beginning. It is the spark that lights the fuse, the event that sets a larger chain of consequences into motion. Outlander has always been about how personal choices echo into history, and Episode 5 seems ready to remind us of that truth. In the end, the bigger picture is clear. Henry finding Julia is not the end of his journey, but the start of his greatest test. The trailer whispers that love might save them, but it also warns us that love might doom them. That's the genius of Episode 5's setup. It doesn't just promise answers, it promises new questions, deeper struggles, and choices that will define not just Henry and Julia's story, but the story of everyone connected to them. Asterisk the trailer ends exactly the way Outlander knows how to end, with a silence that screams louder than any words. After the flashes of chaos, the stolen glances, and the unanswered questions, we are left on the edge of something we cannot see. Henry steps forward, Julia steps back, and just as their worlds are about to collide, the screen cuts to black. No resolution, no embrace, no spoken words. Just an empty pause that makes the wait for Episode 5 unbearable. It's a reminder of why this series grips us so tightly. It doesn't hand over answers icily. It makes us live in the tension, holding our breath until the story chooses to let go. What makes this cliffhanger even more powerful is the way it plays with hope and fear at the same time. On one hand, we feel Henry's desperation finally leading him to Julia. We want to believe that this is the moment of reunion, the scene where everything broken is finally mended. But on the other hand, the trailer reminds us that nothing in Outlander comes without a cost. Julia's hesitation, the shadows lurking behind her, the sound of soldiers in the distance, all of it whispers that this moment is not safe. It's fragile, as though one wrong step could shatter it into pieces. That's the brilliance of this trailer, that it doesn't just show us a reunion. It teases us with the possibility that this reunion could be the very thing that destroys them. Fans, that uncertainty is what pulls us in. We want answers, but deep down, we know Outlander thrives on making us wait. Episode 5 is not just another chapter, it feels like the turning point, where Henry and Julia's story either ignites into love or crumbles under the weight of betrayal, danger, and fate. And that's where you, the audience, come in. What do you think Julia's silence means? Is she afraid of Henry? Or is she afraid of what finding him will cost her? Do you believe their reunion will bring healing? Or will it unleash more chaos than either of them can handle? These are the questions the trailer leaves us with, and the discussion doesn't have to wait until the episode airs. Share your theories, your hopes, and your fears in the comments, because this is the kind of moment that demands conversation. If you felt the tension of that trailer, if you're as eager as I am to see how Henry and Julia's story unfolds, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more breakdowns, and stay tuned. We'll be following every twist, every reveal, and every heart-stopping moment as Outlander. Blood of My Blood continues. Until then, we're left with one burning thought. Is this the reunion that changes everything, or the heartbreak that was always meant to happen? The answer waits in episode 5.